In 72 days, we will have a new government. Election dates are finally out and counting days 23rd of May. Both the NDA government and the opposition have about 10 weeks for their final push in a do-or-die fight. So who stands where? Who looks like they're most likely to come out in front? To speak on this, I'm joined today by senior journalist Arati Jerath and author and journalist Arati Jerath. Welcome to both of you and thank you for speaking with us on Bloomberg Quint. Arati, now that the dates are out, we know how much time both sides really have, and to look at the latest sort of data which has come to the fore with surveys, is it as simple as people are looking at it, that this is going to be just a matter of formality for the BJP and Modi will have a second term? How do you perceive the situation right now?
Well, I would say that post-Pulwama, the BJP has certainly seized the narrative. It is dominating the narrative today. And the BJP has also managed to spook the opposition to the extent that the narrative that the opposition had built up over the last 4 months, which had actually put the BJP and the government on the defensive. That was a narrative of joblessness, of rural distress, destruction of institutions. That narrative, somehow the opposition has got derailed, you know, under this whole sort of hyper-nationalism that the BJP has created post-Pulwama and post the Balakot airstrikes. So today, I mean, if you look around you, you know, certainly Modi seems to be dominating. The BJP seems to be dominating. They have also very quickly put together alliances in states like Maharashtra. They were having trouble with the Shiv Sena, but they moved very quickly there. They've put together the alliance in Jharkhand, in Bihar, in Tamil Nadu, everywhere. I mean, they've moved really fast. On the other hand, look at the opposition. It's still stumbling and fumbling about, its alliances. Yeah. Even in the not-so-contentious states like Tamil Nadu and Bihar, and Maharashtra, the Congress has not been able to finally seal the deal with its allies in those states. And of course, places like Delhi and UP, which are really critical states, and I will put these two as really critical, because UP, of course, has 80 Lok Sabha seats, and this is where the BJP swept and therefore got its majority in 2014. And Delhi, because Delhi is a national capital, it punches above its weight, and, whatever happens here becomes national news. In these two states, the Congress is, again, there seems to be no alliance happening. They keep having these start and stop talks with potential allies, but nothing seems to be actually materializing. So as of now, the BJP's campaign certainly looks much better organized. They've got an emotive issue with which they're sort of barreling forward. And, the opposition has yet to get its numbers together, has yet to get its narrative off the ground. The only thing I will say, though, is that, while nationalism and Balakot and, Pakistan and all are very emotive issues, and the BJP has successfully seized on them and built and, crafted their campaign around these issues. The bread and butter issues that the opposition was talking about have not gone away. The problem of jobs, of a stagnant economy, of rural distress, these problems still remain. So, ultimately what you're seeing is on the ground, a kind of clash between the hyper-emotionalism of BJP's nationalism plank and the bread and butter issues that, the difficulties that people are facing on a daily basis. The thing is, are people going to vote with their heads or their hearts? I think we'll know on the 23rd of May.
No, absolutely. But just a couple of things, and which is why I started with that question. Arati Jerath, let me come to you. Is it as obvious as it seems? And I was just looking at the latest sort of survey we have, which is the C Voter survey, which shows in chart after chart how BJP and Modi have gained electorally or will gain electorally because of Pulwama and Balakot. How they seem to struggle at the end of last year and January onwards, but both the budget and Pulwama have changed things for them. How long-standing is that kind of a sentiment? Because we still have 10 more weeks to go. And will it be left to the opposition to bring up these issues? Or are these issues that people suffer and face day in and day out, and which will go a long way towards their choice?
I think what I've observed is ABP see voter this, and it actually tells a very interesting story. It says that in Punjab, Congress will get 12 seats. Now, if there is any impact of this, what Arati was describing as hyper-nationalism or Pulwama, Punjab should have been, most affected by it. Look at Uttar Pradesh; they are giving 47 seats to Mahagathbandhan minus the Congress. So I'm saying that if this sea voter survey is correct, I think we are in for a very close contest. Nationalism, you see, everyone has a sense of nationalism. What can opposition do? It's a catch-22 situation. If there is a escalation on border, it is government of the day that would deal. It's matters of foreign policy, matters of defense. The opposition has very little. It can only oppose or it can stand by the government. So you see, it is all manufactured, very well curated narrative that Modi government has put forward. I think the voters in India are a lot more, smarter. They vote with their they apply their mind, they apply their wisdom. I think election is fought in 29 states across the country where regional parties have a very important role. Opposition story is very chaotic. There is no doubt about it, the alliance thing and all. But then that's the beauty of our political system. There is always one side is very, so to say, well prepared, smart, attractive and all that. But many times there's probably this thing that that race that had taken place between the thing tortoise and hare and tortoise won. So in this case also, I think the opposition victory will not be an outright victory, but it will be its ability to reduce Prime Minister Modi's NDA vote strength to 200 odd seats. Let's see what happens.
No, so, Mr. Kidwai, how important is the opposition strategy here on? Because as of now, there seems to be no strategy. So is it sort of a walkover kind of situation as of today, unless something dramatically changes, which we don't know what that will be? Is Modi's biggest challenge coming from the opposition or from the environment and, key issues like unemployment and demonetization themselves?
I think that's a very significant question. The key point in our political system is that it is very difficult to defend. People tend to reject elected representatives. Mr. Narendra Modi is not a candidate in 542 parliamentary seats. It's someone else. So, and that kind of performance comes in. And I think that's where the BJP is in trouble, because bulk of their parliamentarians, bulk of their MLAs, they actually come from BJP. And there is a huge anti-incumbency factor is working against them. So that is a challenge number one. Challenge number two is that actually, the alliance is far more, I would say, pragmatic and protracted and all kind of things, because it's not that it just, all sides come together and the other side, they can defeat other side. What we saw in Tripura, you see, sometimes it leads to consolidation of, votes. So if you talk in more specific terms about Uttar Pradesh, I think there is a design that Congress is not becoming part of Samajwadi Party, about the Samaj Party, because the Congress in its assessment can, check some of the, BJP voters. As I said, it all depends upon the kind of verdict we get. But I think, there is a very close contest is there. And for Tamil Nadu, it looks, BJP looks very powerful and formidable with the BJP plus AIDMK. But as we know that, Tamil Nadu tends to vote one side or other, as once, there's Tamil Manila Congress and Congress.
Tamil Nadu will be interesting. Tamil Nadu will be interesting because this is the first major election without both Jayalalitha and M.K. Karunanidhi. And we don't know which way it will go. But, Arati Jerath...
I just wanted to say one thing, that sometimes, as somebody had said in the Congress many years ago, when Congress and Tamil Manila Congress had come together, he said 0 plus 0 is 0. So, this is a hype of this, coming together of many parties may not work.
Okay. No, the question I was asking you, Arati Jerath, is when this conversation comes up in informal gatherings, and I think this is the first thing everyone's talking about nowadays, is what do you think will happen in the elections? And one constant refrain that at least I hear is even people who have a question mark or a doubt about voting for the BJP once again ask, but what is the alternative? Do you think that that is a huge issue? And I'm also asking this in the context of the whole, blog and post that Arun Jaitley put out today talking about leadership. Is the leadership question the most significant it has ever been in Indian elections this time around? Or is that something limited to, say, your urban elite voter?
Well, I would say it varies from election to election, but let me take you back to the election of 2004, when the BJP had a very tall leader in Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and all popularity polls put his popularity at way above 50%. They also had a very emotive and, powerful slogan in Shining India. And if you remember that they had, just won the state assembly elections in December, which gave them the confidence to prepone the Lok Sabha polls in 2004. And they went in for elections 6 months before they were actually due. And, there was this very tall personality, a statesman, who had just, got into some kind of a peace agreement with Pakistan, and, he had restored peace in Kashmir and so on. And on the other side was, this lady who, whose Italian origins had become a bone of contention even within her own party, because Sharad Pawar and P.A. Sangma both left the Congress on that issue. And yet, when the results came out, despite that mega hyped up campaign by the BJP, when the results came out, the Congress was ahead of the BJP by 7 seats. And the rest is history, of course. So Congress went on to form the UPA, they formed the government, Manmohan Singh became Prime Minister, and they actually ruled for 2 terms. So, elections in India are quite strange. You do have a mega personality in Modi. And on the other side, yes, the question does arise, but what's the alternative? But, I think when people go out to vote, they don't necessarily, because ours is not a presidential system. A lot of factors come into play when people go out to vote. They look at the candidate, they look at the party, they look at local issues, they look at, what's been happening in their lives, who do they think can, help them get ahead more. And, so sometimes, this whole personality battle doesn't necessarily yield the kind of results that you expect them to yield. So I would hesitate to say that just because Modi is such a dominant figure today, that, the BJP is running away with the election. No, I think people are going to, they will wait and watch. They will see how the campaign unfolds. They will see the candidates that each party chooses. They will see the kind of issues that are raked up, during campaign. And then they will make up their minds. There are committed voters on both sides. It's the floating voter that really decides an election. And the floating voter, I think, decides really closer towards voting day.
Yeah. Let's talk about then the role of the media, because Arati Jerath, of course, spoke about 2004, and that's a very significant election in the sense of the comparisons she draws between the popularity of Atal Bihari Vajpayee then and Narendra Modi now. The big difference, of course, was Rashid Kidwai, social media, the influence of news television, the prevalence of it, and there's no clarity yet on how big a part these mediums play in influencing voters' choices or giving them the information which will help them make a choice. Do you think that this is why it's become such a big factor? People believe what they see on these mediums, and it goes a far way, quite a distance in influencing their perception, even though their reality may be different.
Yes, I think that's one area where the NDA under Prime Minister Modi has taken a huge head start. But remember, as a student of communication, I can tell you, see, the media perpetuates that existing, belief system. If somebody is a Modi supporter, there will be a very clear head start. But sometimes I wonder when I interact with people, who are the new voters who have come in? Have you come across a person who had not voted for BJP and Prime Minister Modi in 2014 and now says, no, he or she will vote for it? So there are these kind of questions are there that need answer. I think we need to also look very closely in, regional media, what is regional media saying, what is regional TV channels are saying, what are the other online platforms are saying. So we get a very different kind of picture. What I'm saying is that media does influence, but it cannot alter the narrative. Otherwise, that stronger side would have never lost more, even if it was 1977 or 1989 or 2004, as Arati was saying. So there are a lot of local factors are there, local issues are there. On economic terms, people want to know, are they better off what they were in 2004 or sorry 2014? So these are the questions that everyone would be asking before casting vote.
Apart from information which is out there, people's own perceptions, the only thing you can really go by when looking at trends for a general election, I guess, are by-poll results. And which is why, Arati Jerath, let me come to you on that bit. Because if you see how people have voted in parliamentary seats, which they will now from the month of April onwards, there the BJP has lost. It in fact lost 9 seats between 2014 and 2019. The Congress won 5 and others won 4 from what they had earlier. So that's where that trend is going. But one could argue that the BJP already had a much wider base. So, this 9 seats they lost may still not be a reflection of the larger picture. How would you look at the importance of by-poll results in trying to analyze what happens next?
Well, I mean, if we look just at Uttar Pradesh, where we had 3 by-polls, including the seat of the UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, Gorakhpur, which he has held, I think, for 4 or 5 terms. The BJP lost all 3 because the SP, BSP and RLD came together and fought, those seats. So, I mean, if these by-poll results tell you the power of the arithmetic of that alliance which Mayawati, Akhilesh and Ajit Singh have sewn up, then I think the BJP is in trouble in UP. And that is really the key state, because they won 73 of the 80 seats there. And I think that is really what got the BJP to a majority, something which no party had got since Rajiv Gandhi in 1984. So, by-poll results, I think, do reflect a mood. But this is where, this whole Pulwama and Balakot have kind of, blurred things a little bit. Because right now, there's so much emotional hype around Balakot and, this whole nationalism and national security that, the real issues have got blurred. Caste divisions have got blurred. But I am really, I really wonder whether the BJP can maintain this hype for, how long did you say? 72 days, right?
Yes.
72 or 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Can they maintain this level of emotionalism for 10 weeks? I find it difficult to imagine that they can do it. And so ultimately, I think it has to come back to basic issues like joblessness, the after effects of demonetization. I mean, listen, today, if you speak to any small shopkeeper, small trader, he's really crying because demonetization has hit him so badly that, he's just not recovered from it.
The problem with demonetization
really
is there have been elections after demonetization where the BJP and Prime Minister Modi have not been electorally penalized for that decision. Uttar Pradesh was case in point. In Gujarat, even
That's
in
right.
places like Surat, it did not happen.
Absolutely. Yes, because the BJP was, but I would put Gujarat in a separate, category, because Gujarat, after all, is Narendra Modi's home state. And, and I think they made a very concerted effort there to project him as a son of the soil and, a question of, izzat, sort of naak kat jayega if you defeat a Gujarati. But imagine the BJP, barely made it in that election. Okay, but let's go back to UP, which happened immediately after demonetization. I think that the real impact of demonetization had not yet been felt by people, and people were fairly taken in by the spin that was given. That it was a pro-poor move and that all this black money was going to come back into government coffers and then the government would distribute it amongst the poor. That's what people were expecting. And, but I don't think once the elections were over, I think the hype started dissipating when people realized that there was no money in their bank accounts. And not only that, they'd actually lost their jobs as well. So, it's now that people are looking back and saying, hey, demonetization wasn't really great. Demonetization hit us very badly. And today, people, and that is why the narrative till Pulwama had actually got the BJP on the back foot. They had no answers. Yeah. That's why they had to come out with this utterly populist budget full of sops for every single class that they could possibly, reach out to, because they were defensive.
That's the thing.
So,
okay, sorry, to complete your point, because I want to take off from what you were saying.
No, please. So
that's the thing, and I'll come to Rashid Kidwai on this. The BJP responded. As of December last year, after Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, they were looking like they were on the back foot. They recognized what the problem areas were and they responded with a very populist budget, with loads of schemes. The first tranche of PM Kisan have already gone out. There has been a response. Let's look at what the other side has done or the opposition has done. In this case, it is like they are sitting on a pile of issues to take up but are not sure really what to do. The Congress in particular is going on about Rafale when there is so much else to talk about without any clarity on how much Rafale is really going to have any say in this election. Do you think that the Congress and the opposition really is not making as much an effort as they need to?
I think there is always, scope of improvement. The kind of leaders in oppositions we have, there are two types of things. One is the national party, that is Congress. It has its own, limitations and a leadership style and all these things. Then there are regional allies. Now, if we expect that they will all come together and sing a same, theme song, I think it is, asking for a bit much, because each of them has its own kind of way of looking at things, aspirations, a kind of very different worldview that all these people have. So this, the opposition, that chaos that I see will be there till the last day, till the day of counting of votes. But that does not mean that it's a one-horse race. The key point is, if we analyze all the states that have gone to polls after BJP came to power, the bulk of the states actually BJP and NDA have won from what it was with UPA or with third front parties. So when it comes to defending their own citadel, whether it was Gujarat, which Arati has described, which had a lot of difficulty and lost these three states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, they had a problem in even retaining Goa. So what I'm saying is the BJP is very good when it is on the offensive. It is defensive when it has to defend its turf. Yeah. And that is where I see the opposition as a chance, because the people, the voter may be rejecting a lot of BJP elected representatives. If that happens, then BJP has problem in hand.
That's an important point, because in 2014 there was a record number of new MPs, all sort of lifted in the Modi wave. Will they be held accountable, or can their leader and big face sort of hedge any kind of anti-incumbency that they face? These are big questions, and of course we'll continue to discuss them here on Bloomberg Quint. But for today, thank you so much, Rashid Kidwai and Arati Jerath.